What's going on, everyone? Tanner Poppitt here of Madrost and Poppitt's Corner. Just wanted to remind you guys that our first record, Maleficent, is being reissued at NoLifeTomatoRecords.com. That's right. Just type in the search bar and place your pre-orders now at NoLifeTomatoRecords.com. That's right. What was it again? Oh, yeah. NoLifeTomatoRecords.com. Now, let's check out the episode you actually came to see. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. We are here. This is a brand new segment. We did one obviously last week where we literally had a duel between classic albums. If you haven't gone back and checked that one out, I highly suggest you do so. We actually did the Bark at the Moon versus Diary of a Madman, where the albums have to have same number of songs and be from the same artist. So this time we're going to do a little bit different. Where we're gonna what I call rank the career of our favorite bands and what albums we prefer and which we don't. So I think this will be a fun one. And Shannon, I really appreciate you hopping back on from the previous segment we did last week and hanging. So it means a lot.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. It's always
So
a good time.
Before we get started though, man, what do you got cooking as far as the your music goes?
Getting ready to record next weekend. Re-recording our very first album that has been out of print since 6 months after it came out. So I've never been happy with it in the past. So now it's time to fix it and make it like it was supposed to sound. And it's ruthless. It's definitely so punishing.
I like
it's gonna slap people in the face and screaming them to beg for more. That's best I can say.
Absolutely, looking forward to it, man. Well, dude, so the band that we wanted to do this week is the Mighty Slayer, right? One of the big four thrash. Yeah, and still a band that is as much of a part as heavy metal as heavy metal can get. So this is a good choice. This is going to be tough. So why don't you take? So let's do from our least favorite to favorite.
Okay.
And so Slayer has 12 albums. Yeah, 12 albums.
Okay.
This will take a little bit more time, but let's get into it, man. What is your number 12?
So my number 12 is Diabolus in Musica. There's not one good song on it. I don't like the guitar tone. I think the drums sound terrible. I think the vocals are wretched. It just sounds like corn to me. Korn. Corny. There you go. I don't like it at all. So that's my least favorite.
And that came out around the Korn, Follow the Leaders era. So that was heavily probably influenced them a little bit.
Yeah, that was released in June of '98.
Yeah.
So that would say a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, the new metal craze.
Yeah.
All right. So, my least favorite. This is tough because Slayer's had a lot of stinkers, in my opinion, in the later catalog. But I think this is a dumb title, and it's not as much of a Slayer album to me without Jeff Hanneman, and that is the last one they put out, which was Repentless. Stale riffs, not where I don't even know. I can't even distinguish one song from another, and I'm not a fan of those kind of records. And I think the saving grace for me is Gary Holt's guitar tone and his solos on it. Other than that, I think that's bland writing, stale riffs, and it's just not interesting for me. And it's a dumb title. It is. It's a dumb title.
Right.
Cool. Number 11, dude.
All right. Number 11, I'm going to have to say World Painted Blood. Yes, same guitar tone as Diabolus and Musica to me. I guess that guitar tone stayed with them from Diabolus to the end. I just don't like it. It sounds so fake, and it's just down tuned, and the songs really. I mean, there's a few good songs on it, but you really have to like dig to find them. And after listening to it for a while, you're just like, okay, well, this is boring. Next. Right?
And can we just talk about the album cover for a minute, just on that record? I just think it's so bland.
Yeah, it is. It's very bland. There's no
I
emotion.
I think towards the later half of Slayer's career, they had bland covers. There was like a good
Hmm.
cover and then a bland cover, good cover and then a bland cover, right? So you
Hmm.
have God Hates Us All. That was, you know, to me it was an okay cover, and then you had Christ Illusion, which was a good album cover, and then War,
Hmm.
Pain, and Blood. You know, it's like,
Yeah, what happened?
yeah. So number 11 for me it would have to be War, Pain, and Blood. Again, I think the title track was the only one I preferred over the rest of them. Again, bland album cover, man. This is kind of the last, kind of Slayer album because Jeff Hanneman's writing, right?
Hmm.
Even though he wrote some stuff on Repentless, it just I feel this is kind of like the true, last Slayer record, but
Right,
it wasn't good for me. It's not an album that I go back to, and
right,
so that's why it's my number 11.
right. Okay, next I'm going to have to say God Hates Us All. I know this was released on September 11th, the same day the World Trade Center was hit and the Pentagon. But there's really nothing there to me. It's another new metal type thrashish album. It's nothing really there. I like one song. That's the title track, I guess. I think it's called. I don't know, but it just does nothing for me. It's a little bit better than Christ Illusion, but not much. But I do like the drumming. I will say that I like the drumming. The
Oh
drumming's
yeah,
killer,
well, Paul Bostaph
and there's some
rules.
cool riffs. There's some really cool riffs too, but it just doesn't
Totally,
do anything for me.
totally. Um, so number 10 for me, I would have to go Diablos in Musica. I think again, lame album title for me. It's what the Devil's Music,
The devil in music. Yeah.
but I again the guitar tones, whatever songs or whatever. This is during a period too when like bands of that were once huge didn't have they were trying to still find their sound. And I know Slayer's like never kind of dipped out of that, but I felt with this one it wasn't what I was particularly looking for. I'm sure they're proud of this record, but I'm it's not an album I ever go back to listen.
Hmm. Understandable. All right. So my next one, I guess I'm gonna have to say Repentless. I like two songs off of it. I think they're really good. The title track, I think, is the strongest that they've had since Diabolus in Musica. But yeah, there's not really much to it. I mean, Jeff's not around on this album, and it just kind of is it going through the motions? I don't really know. To me, kinda, but I understand also Kerry wanting to continue on, and because this, it's his life. It's Tom Arreo's life. They just, but again, it's the last album, so maybe they just realized, okay, now it's just time to stop. It's not bad to me. It's just has it's just missing something, and I don't really I can't put my finger on it.
I mean, again, that's why I said it doesn't feel like a Slayer album to me.
Hmm.
you know, but uh, again, good choice, good choice. So what are we at now? 8? We're at number 8
8.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 8 for me would be probably Undisputed Attitude. It's a cover album essentially. There are a couple great songs on it. I do like the Mr. Freeze cover. Obviously Doctor No. Um, Mostly punk covers. And yeah, like, dude, I think they did it at a time when they didn't know what they wanted to do musically, and having a cover album during the mid '90s was probably a good decision by them. So I'm going with Undisputed Attitude.
Nice. So my next one, I haven't said this one yet, so I'm going to say it. Christ Illusion. Um, Dave Lombardo's back on drums on this album. Holy shit, right? The drumming is amazing, man. But again, the guitar tones ruin the album to me. The down tune thing, I just said, to me the guitars sound really fake. Um, but there are a few good songs on it. But yeah, other than that, there ain't really much to talk about on it because it was in the later career. So you know, I don't know. Christ Illusion though, that comes in next.
I think with Christ Illusion, and I think with that, and I'll talk about it in a we'll get to it in a couple minutes. How about that?
Yeah,
We'll get to it in a couple minutes.
right on.
All right. So my number 7 would be God Hates Us All. I think the guitar tone on this is relatively strong, especially in their later career. Um, I think it was probably one of probably the last my last favorite of the guitar tones in this in Slayer's catalog. I felt what's kept this album alive is that it was just released on um 9/11. That's like, you know, what it has going for it at this point. Couple great songs on it. Title track obviously is amazing. It's one that they still played even when Dave came back into the band. And yeah, I'm just not a fan of the album cover. I'm not a fan of especially the white one. I liked the book one where it was like covered in blood,
Mhm.
and with the guy slid his Slayer into his arm or whatever, and that was posted in there as well. But yeah, to
Right,
me, it's just you know that's what it has going for me. So a couple good songs, and it was released on a day that will live in infamy in American history. So
right. All right. So my next one, I'm gonna say, Seasons in the Abyss. This was the most commercial that they've ever been. Not really into commerciality. I think there's a few good songs on it, but it's to me it's just so processed. It's how would you say, overproduced, I guess. I don't know. To me, thrash is supposed to be dirty and deadly and just supposed to feel like everything's gonna fall off the rails at any given time, and this doesn't. This is all just kind of, it's in a box, and they don't really go outside of that box. They're happy in that box on this album, I'll say that, but there isn't really anything to me that really sticks out to me. I guess I like Spirit in Black, the song, pretty well. Um, but I will say though too, when I first heard this and I heard War Ensemble, I was still in the Marine Corps, so I was getting ready to possibly go to Iraq or Saudi Arabia rather, because that was Desert Storm, Desert Shield time. But that song like pumped me. But after a while, when you hear that song, you're just like, okay, I don't want to hear this song again because it became one of their most famous songs. And I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying I got burnt on it. So, and I guess I kind of got burnt on the album. Everybody loved it. Everybody played it. Automatically, I hate it just because everybody else likes it. So, Seasons in the Abyss. That's my next one.
I like it. My next choice would be probably Divine Intervention. This is the first to feature Paul Bostaph on drums. Following the dismissal of Dave Lombardo. This is their sixth record. Again, I'm not I don't know. Maybe Slayer to me doesn't have that good of an album cover history, but I'm not a fan of the album covers. So especially this one, I think it had a few more good songs than the later output. But yeah, to me, it's Divine Intervention would be my next.
Awesome. Okay, my next one would be Undisputed Attitude, the all punk covers album. Um, man, I like the DRI song. I like the DI song. I like all the songs on it. I think they did a really good job. Dave Lombardo was supposed to be the drummer on it, but since things didn't work out and they ended up with Paul did the drums on it. So I don't know. It doesn't really change anything, but I think it's a good covers album for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. So my next pick, what did we at? Number 5 or 6 at this point?
Yeah, we're getting down
number
there.
5. Yeah, number I think we're at number 6. I think number 6. So, number 6 or 7 or 5, I don't know. One of the three. Christ Illusions would be my next choice. I felt this was a really strong comeback album for a band, to get their original lineup, especially during the late 2000s. This is to me when there was more spotlight on Slayer itself. I felt they kind of lost something around, when Dave left or he got dismissed, whatever the case may be. But I feel when they got him back on Christ Illusion, it just gave the band a little bit more energy. I really like Cult, the song, that riff is obviously reminiscent of just everything Slayer embodies. It sounds like a Slayer riff. I remember watching them on the Henry Rollins show, and they played that song, and I was like, "This is awesome." Then I went and saw them on tour, and it was probably one of the greatest shows I'd ever seen, still to this day, of Slayer. They didn't do so well when I saw them the last time with the original lineup, so go figure. But I felt this was when the band, the band's trajectory really kind of took off again, and what kind of cemented them into like the legend status that they became.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Plus, it's a better album cover. Got to put that in there too.
Right. So my next one is Divine Intervention. Even though this is the first one with Paul, I think this thing's it's dark. It's very dark. It's and to me there's not a bad song on it. Not a bad song. But it doesn't match up to the others yet because they're finding themselves again on this album. To me, they're finding themselves again. I don't know. I don't really know what to say, man. I like it though. I do. I like it a lot. What was the song that was fast? What was it called again?
I don't know. They got a lot of songs that are fast, so it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint it.
They had the video for it. The country's lost its grip. The scales of justice tend to tip. Legal system has no spine. It's corroded from inside. Slap your hand, you'll do no time.
Oh, are you talking about War? The one where they're covered in blood?
Or was that different one? Ditto Head.
Ditto Head.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Ditto Head rules. Sex Murder Artist killer. Circle of Beliefs is killer. SS3 is killer. Yeah, man. It's a good album.
All right. So the last 5 to me are always tough because it's the first 5 for me that make the top 5. Yeah. So let's do this. So my number 5, Show No Mercy would be my number 5. I feel this. So Bill Matoyer, legendary producer, did the mix on this. some fun facts where I'm sure you know this, but if you, I just want to tell some stuff for the audience is that um, Dave Lombardo recorded this album twice. Essentially, he did just all the drums, and then he had to go back and put the cymbals in. So he literally had to play, the drums without the cymbals because it bled too much into everything else, and did all the cymbals separately. So he
Right.
essentially recorded the album twice, right? And that
Right.
must be a pain in the ass to do, especially if it's your first album that you've ever done. Holy cow,
Yeah, it's got to be mind-boggling there.
And I'm not saying this album is no slouch. It's one of my favorites. It's my number 5 for the reason of the production side of things. Like I felt it was good, but I think the production got a lot darker and a lot more like atmospheric and just like what the fuck. Like this is the scariest shit I've ever heard. So kind of tone and production. So yeah, Show No Mercy would be my top 5 for me.
Right on. So my next one, I'll have to say, probably South of Heaven. Even though it's a little slower than Rain and Blood, how can you follow Rain and Blood, which is 30 minutes of onslaught, brutality? But this one has some very good songs. Behind the Crooked Cross is my favorite off this album. That drum break that's in the middle, just oh my god, man, how do you pull that one off when you first hear it? Yeah, man. So that's my next choice.
There you go. All right, man. Top 4. Again, this is tough, dude. Number 4 is Rain and Blood. I feel it's ferocious. I also feel it's, to me, it's not the quintessential Slayer record for me. I It's kind of like just in your face for half hour, which is great. It serves its purpose. I just felt I like a little bit more than just in your face style rip and thrash.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but
Right.
dude, the iconic, right? By all stretch of the imagination. Production is amazing. So, arguably, their biggest songs are possibly on this album, right?
Hmm.
Minus South of Heaven and War Ensemble. And yeah, it rules. So that's my number 4 is Rain and Blood.
Right on. Oh. Oh, my next one will probably have to be the same. Rain and Blood.
For
Even
your
though, man, every song is part of that album. Every song is like a puzzle piece in this album. When it starts with Angel of Death and it ends in Raining Blood, if you take a song out, it's not that album no more. It's such an onslaught. It's a slap to the face, and it keeps slapping you until it's over, and then you flip the album over or start it over because it's so short and it keeps slapping you in the face. I love it, man. I really do. So that's my next choice, Rain and Blood.
very cool. All right, top 3, dude. This is tough. Whew. Okay, top 3. So again, I'm gonna have to go for Seasons in the Abyss for my number 3 pick. It was the first Slayer song I'd ever heard. Life changing album for me. It's number 3 for me just because I found other Slayer albums that I absolutely love more. Um, I think the title track is a change of pace for this band. I felt they went more kind of mid pacey with that track. They started off strong with War Ensemble, which is just fucking deadly. One of my all time favorite Slayer songs. But then you go into like Spirit in Black and Dead Skin Mask, which are kind of like the mid pacey songs, and they just fit so well for me. Love the production. Album covers, it's a little weird. I don't even think it features the logo on it. I think it's just like the album cover, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, just this is obviously the last album with Dave Lombardo on drums until Christ Illusion and so on and so forth. But the first the the first 5 Slayer albums, you can't go wrong for me. So definitely, Seasons in the Abyss.
Nice. So, what am I missing?
A lot. First 2 records for you.
My 2 favorites. Okay. Hell Awaits is my next one. When I first heard this, oh my God, man. The intro, join us backwards. The drumming and then the whole instrumental thing until it kicks in and then beats you and punishes you till you can't stand no more. This album is haunting too. The title track, Hell Awaits, that's the song Kill Again. Yeah, you can't go wrong. The cover's what it is. I never liked any Slayer album cover, just to be honest. They were one of my favorite bands. I just never really cared for the album covers, but yeah, man, Hell Awaits. That's next.
Absolutely. So my number 2, you're gonna be surprised at this. My
Okay.
number 2 is South of Heaven. It's still life changing for me. Putting on that with the headphones, the title track, and then going into Silent Scream. I mean, I kind of wish they played those songs back to back live, but they would only do South of Heaven. But starting off the show with that song is just it the lights go down and then suddenly the intro for South of Heaven comes in, and you're like, I'm going to die. That's what I felt like as a 16-year-old kid watching Slayer in Long Beach Arena. Was the lights went down, crowd started to yell, and then the intro for South of Heaven comes on, and I'm like looking around, like I'm literally going to die here. This is it. That's what I felt like going to see Slayer. Doing the Unholy Alliance tour, and life changing, dude. So yeah, South of Heaven, no brainer, number 2.
Right on.
And I love
Very
the
good choice.
production, even though the production is a little bit more gritty after Rain
Mhm.
and Blood, right? Because the production on Rain and Blood is just so in your face and so clean. They
Right.
went a little bit more dirty on this record, I felt, and I really felt it worked for the songs.
Right. All right. Well, my top favorite is Show No Mercy. Every song on this album rules. From Black Magic, The Antichrist,
Die by the Sword.
Tormentor, um, just the whole thing, man. My favorite song, my favorite Slayer song of all time, Cryonics, is on this album. To me, this is if Judas Priest got violent, this is what it would be. And I'm a huge Judas Priest fan, so I guess they kind of go hand in hand together. So yeah, man. Even though, like you said, Dave Lombardo had to go back and punch in the cymbals after the drums were already laid down. For that to come out like it did, man, is amazing. I like the guitar tone on this. I like Tom Araya's vocals. I like Tom Araya's bass playing. The drumming kicks ass. Jeff Hanneman kills on this. Yeah, man. It's their first album, and you just can't go wrong with this one to me. Show No Mercy.
And it's got Die by the Sword on it, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
tracks on it too. Okay, so that leaves my number 1 pick, and this is a no-brainer. This was the no-brainer. It was kind of like how am I going to fit every other album after this? Because this is the one I go to always for Slayer, and that'd be Hell Awaits. I love the album cover on it. It defines the sound of it, which is kind of cool. Like it's like an all-encompassing units. It's a cohesive package for me. 7 songs, all killer, no filler. To me, it's the quintessential Slayer album. It's everything you want with Slayer. It's creepy, it's dark, it's melodic, it's just straight up in your face. The tone of the guitars is so gritty. I think they improved. This is what Show No Mercy to me should have sounded like as far as the songwriting goes, and I mean, I felt like they were coming into their own sound, and this to me is the best Slayer album ever. Hell Awaits.
Yeah, mine was always Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits back and forth, so I understand totally where you're coming from there.
The best. So, all right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us, Shannon. You got
Oh,
any
yeah.
last parting words? Any more stuff to promote before we get out of here?
No, but thanks for listening. Hope I didn't offend too many people with my opinions on the Slayer albums and the order they go. But if I did, I'm sorry. But
Are you kidding me? Don't ever apologize on my fucking show. No, this is what you do, dude. That's it. That's what you do. So, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. And if there's a band that you want to see us do or whatever, send me a comment, send me a message. Don't forget to check out. We are now on the cmspn.com. You can also go on poppitscorner.com for all your Poppitt's Corner needs. I should have hopefully some thongs in the near future, some shirts, some hats. But if you want any of that stuff, I should have it very soon. So make sure to hit up poppitscorner.com and go check out everything Adventure of Blood, Madrost, and everything in your local metal community. So we're out of here, guys.
awesome.
Cheers.